Hello and welcome back to the Metamystic Show. Today we're going to be talking about the Five of Cups and how it relates to everything I'm about to say. If you missed episode 24, Christian Exposed 1, this will be Christian Exposed 2. So I will link down below that first expose, if you will. Watch that video if you want to know what happened. Basically, I ran a social experiment on my Facebook page because I decided to turn something that was honestly kind of uncalled for. I just posted a picture of myself and a bunch of people came onto that picture, specifically Christians. Watch the episode for the full details, but people basically just came on there saying all sorts of things to me, right? So I decided to turn it into something interesting, right? And that's part of what the Five of Cups is about. And we're going to talk about that today. This is actually a transmutation energy if you let it be, or a transformational energy if you let it be, right? It depends how you look at it. This is like a half glass full, half glass empty. Sorry, guys, I'm filming this during Mercury retrograde. Sort of a card. We're going to talk about that. But today we're doing Christians Exposed 2. Because I posted a follow-up to that episode on my Facebook page. I posted a statement of sorts, and I want to read that to you. And then we'll get to the comments of how people responded to that post. And that's where the Five of Cups will tie in here. Basically, the Five of Cups is a card of these three cups are spilled. That's why he's sad. He's looking down at the three cups that have been spilled, representing everything he's lost. It's a card of grief, of sorrow, of sadness. But then there are these other two cups that he's not even paying attention to, the cups that are still there, right? Today, we're going to start off by talking about the three spilled cups. Because once again, we are presented with Christians who double, triple, and quadruple down on their points, which is the three cups spilled. But instead of me or you, because I'm sure if you're watching this message applies to you as well, right? You know, I got all sorts of comments from the other side, quote unquote, and that's what those two cups are going to be. We're going to talk about those two cups, but I'm going to start off with the three, and then we're going to move into the two cups and why we should take the two cups and get over this bridge and go on our merry way instead of staying trapped in sadness and disappointment. And why don't people understand me? And I wish they could just see it from my side, and they won't even let me explain anything. There's no mercy. It's a card of depression. You know what I mean? It's a card of feeling hopeless. You know, it's a gray energy. See how the sky is gray? It's like, it's not even raining. It's just gray. It's just like, it's a feeling of hopelessness. So I want to start off with the hopeless part and end up in the hopeful part by the end of this episode. And that's what we're going to aim to do. So first, let's start off by the pinned post on my personal Facebook page. This is my personal page, guys. This is not for the Metamystic. This is a Missy Gordon page, right? So, you know, I really have big balls to do this, right? Hey, I got a Leo stellium, and my Mercury's in Leo, and I got a couple things to say. My Christian deconversion. I love you all and always will, but I have carefully crafted my conclusions over many, many years of questioning, study, and personal spiritual experiences. Specifically, Mercury retrograde, sorry guys. Specifically, I spent the last 3 years deconstructing my faith. But before that, I was always a questioner as well. I have 55 episodes on my podcast, The Metamystic Show, talking about how I came to the conclusions that I did about my faith. And they're not really conclusions as in I feel I have the answers. I'm a student of life. I always have been, and I will never fully arrive. It would take 1,000 lifetimes to even begin to scratch the surface of the depths of what it all means. I will spend the rest of my life seeking truth and communing with the divine as I always have. I feel like this is a press conference, but this is what you got to do with these people. It's like you have to make your statement. Anyways, whatever. I don't have to do anything. I just wanted to. I wanted to. You know, it's kind of like coming out of the closet here. I've only taken the time to share what I've shared on Facebook because I decided to finally take my power back, stand up for myself, speak my piece, and transmute the negative comments into a teaching opportunity and a way to connect with others who have also felt victimized by Regina George. I mean, Christians, sorry. I love you, my family and friends, but I have stayed silent for 3 years because I knew everyone would react the way you are all reacting now. That's the reason. I'm just honest. Like, you know, what do I have to lose, right? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. These people try to shame you out of every possible little bit of dignity you got left. You know what I'm saying? I knew everyone would react the way you're reacting now, and I had to give myself enough time to process my own beliefs. I got a lot of episodes talking about that, and become stable enough emotionally to withstand the storm that I knew would inevitably come my way when I would share my heart and my very personal, private, spiritual journey. I'm so happy that I was wrong about my past Christian beliefs because I now no longer have to live in a state of cognitive dissonance and can worship freely in the way that I want to. I can love who I love, say what I want to say, dress how I want to dress, and be a voice to the causes that matter to me without fearing hell. After 32 years of mental torment from religion, battling with self-harm, drugs, alcohol, my sexuality and gender, my family, friends, and society, I am finally free. And I will spend the rest of my life helping others to see that they are free as well. Because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, right? Okay, so I wrote that, and we're going to look at the responses to that very honest, raw post that I didn't even think much about, to be honest with you. All right, now before I get to the comments, and I'm going to put them in 3 different categories as to who we're dealing with here in a very common debate that you can see on any forum on the internet. Anything, you know, people post stuff on Instagram, you'll see the same sort of comments. It's cliche, it's obvious, it's what you'd expect these people to say, it's what I expected them to say, and that's why I took 3 years so that I could almost quietly process my own journey. It's like it took me 3 years to be able to be this neutral right now. Let's just keep that honest, straight. You know, it's the only straight thing in the room, and that's what it is. So, 5 of Cups. I wrote a song called 5 of Cups that I'm going to play at the end of this episode. So I hope that you will stay tuned for that as well. But let's get to the comments. First, I have separated them into 3 different categories. Category 1 is the obvious, like I mentioned. Christians that are going to say this exact same things that you're going to see. I'm not special. You know what I'm saying? This episode is not unique. This is something you can see on forums, on Instagram posts where nobody asked, and you know what I mean? It's like, this is just, you could literally copy and paste these comments on anybody's picture, on anybody's YouTube channel. It's repetitive, it's the same. Nobody thinks for themselves. They just copy these rote phrases, repetitive. It's like, so really, this part of the episode, to be honest with you, it's kind of just like, why am I bothering? Because I really want to get to the point, which are the outliers, which is category 3, and we'll get to that. Because what we have here, if you can even see this, what we have here, oh my God, this is my note-taking system, guys. I'm thinking about doing an episode on that, actually. Pillar 1, okay, is Christians, all right? Number 2 is the people who disagree with those people. Category 3 are the outliers, and that's really what I want to get to, because that's really what I'm talking about, and no disrespect for the people that stood up for me, that fought back against these people, and were basically in conclusion, what category 2 said, the people that disagree with the Christians, basically they were saying, everything you're saying doesn't make sense, which is true. That's a quick summation, right? But let's read a couple here, because I want to get to category 3, which are the people that I actually am hoping to talk to. Again, no disrespect to anybody else, but category 1 and category 2, it's more obvious. It's the obvious debate that you can see on any corner of the internet. It's kind of similar to, and it's not the same thing, but it's kind of similar to Republican and Democrat, conservative and liberal. It's sort of a thing. It's not that, but it's like that, right? So we kind of know these arguments already. We're kind of all familiar with these arguments that Christians say things that are just like out of pocket, and then other people that disagree with that, even if they're Christians themselves, which is interesting. I've had multiple Christians privately message me because of this post and be like, who are these people? I'm not like that, basically, right? And I had multiple of those stragglers too that I would put more in the outliers category as opposed to the Christian category. Those ones, and I got a few of them, are Christian people that were appalled, their words, not mine, by the comments that they were seeing on my post. So there we go. There's always going to be those few in the group that have a mind of their own, that have a good heart, and that are not just, let's be honest with these Christians, right? Because I was one of them. Hi, my name's Missy Gordon, and I used to be a Christian. Okay, trust me, you know what I mean? I'm just one of the crowd. I'm just one of the group. I'm just speaking it out. I just have the balls to talk about it. You know what I mean? All right, Christians, number 1. Why was I saying that? Damn you, Mercury retrograde. Oh. Okay, let's look at the comments. Oh, boy. It's like I don't even want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody knows. Everybody knows what they're going to say. But let me read the standouts. All right? This is a man that was friends with my dad for many years, who I do consider to be an outlier, but is still a Christian. So let's read the outliers within the Christian category, and then I'll read some of the obvious things you can read on any corner of the internet. Okay. This is all news to me, but I wish you healing and peace. Even if we just stop on that. Okay, thank you for being normal. I personally have found nothing but hope, healing, and freedom in my Christian experience following my 7 years of atheism, which I respect that. Do you know what I'm saying here? It's like he's speaking to me like a person, and I've known this man for many years, okay? This is not just some random person. I would be happy to chat with you, understand why our respective experiences seem to have been polar opposites. Love and peace to you, my sister. Okay, so that's normal. You know what I'm saying here? That's brain. Can we just have a round of applause for brain, everybody? Some brain. Thank you. All right, everyone. Okay. Now, let's hop over to this friend of mine. I can relate, but I'm scared to be open about it because of the judgment and being shut out. That doesn't sound so good. Let's just pause on that. Well, that's why I was in hiding for 3 years from my own social media. You know what I'm saying? It's like, anyways, I give you so much credit for being your authentic self and owning that. Okay. Thank you. Now, let's look at another Christian comment, okay? These are actually, some of these are very good, I think. I'm sorry this journey has been such a wrestle and a struggle for you personally. Jesus set me free from the bondage of serving myself and being miserable. I was stuck in legalistic thinking for a long time. And when I became new to things of the Spirit, your videos always encouraged me so much. For what it's worth, I'm commenting to pray for you. I laid awake for over an hour last night with you on my mind. I wish you the very best. Another pretty normal person that knew me from my minister days, right? Okay. Christian category number 1. It is my prayer that you will see clearly and any illusions of truth be removed. When she chooses to accept and believe, this didn't catch God off guard. I once was in the place she is now. When truth shines its light and your eyes are open, you believe no one but God's word. Okay. Truth, this is another person. Truth is not an object to be found. I mean, at least that's philosophical. I respect that. Truth is not an object to be found, and I don't think that because I think he's relating to my post saying that I'm saying I was looking for truth and blah, blah, blah. It's not an object to be found. Respect. Truth is not an object to be found. We are to seek the cause of pain and pleasure while we are living as human beings. Physical and emotional craving are inevitable. See, physical and emotional craving are inevitable. Living a disciplined life is difficult. Basically, and he's one of like a category of others, and I'm not going to read them all. I want to keep this snappy. These are my points. There's a group of these people that are saying basically, and I have like 54 comments in my phone about it. People saying to me, it's a hard life to live for Christ. It's hard to not be sinful. It's hard to not give in to the lust of the flesh. It's hard to carry this cross, so to speak. But that's what we have to do, is essentially what they're saying, in a nutshell. This person, I'm going to skip some of these. This person, a friend of mine from my whole wheat sandwich days, which is interesting. All these people are combining from other places. This is a category 3 here. This is an outlier, right? I deconstructed several years ago myself for the same reasons as you mentioned in your podcast. The hardest part for me has been tuning out the patronizing opinions and manipulation. Those are strong words. Patronizing, manipulation. And those are not, see how these things just roll off of people's tongues here? These people in these comments, I know these people. These are not random people on the internet with a profile picture of a cat. These are real people that I know. Do you know what I'm saying here? That's why this is an interesting experiment, because these people who have come out to party on my Facebook page are people I know personally. So these are not wackos talking about crazy, eccentric, sensationalist opinions, talking about how Christians are manipulative and patronizing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is just a normal person, and this is how she feels, right? The hardest part for me of her deconstruction, which is basically thinking about your faith, questioning your faith, thinking about what you believe and what you don't believe because it doesn't make sense and it's cognitive dissonance and you don't know what to believe and what not to believe. The hardest part for me has been tuning out the patronizing opinions and manipulation of believers who don't understand me. 5 of Cups. Which is why I stay silent primarily, right? People feel they have to be silent. This is not just like, oh, I don't want to deal with these people on Thanksgiving dinner. I understand that. Like, I understand feeling like, oh, I don't want to bring up politics at Thanksgiving sort of a vibe. This ain't that. This is like people feel like they cannot speak on anything. It's like Christians come out, and not just Christians. I had Jehovah's Witness at my door the other day. When I was on my Core Influence call, there was a man peering into me. Shout out to Core Influence and all our Dent makers. Link down in the comments if you want to join us, if you want to grow your social media. It's a great place to be. Anyways, shameless plug. There was a man literally peering through my front door all the way into my house, 2 doors in. I'm sitting on my rocking chair with my headphones on in my class, and he's staring at me. I mean, I used to go around with a Christian group door to door. it's not, you know what I'm saying? So it's like these people go around unashamedly, unabashed, just pushing themselves places where they don't belong in today's modern world. I mean, people, I deliver for DoorDash. Most of the time, people don't want to see you. They just want you to leave their food, get in your car, and get off their property. Love and light. I respect it. That's the day and age we're in. So it's like these people can't read the room. They're the sort of people that when you're on a date with them, you're saying no, 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 and they're being inappropriate. That's the energy. Oh, well, we would never do that because we don't believe in sex before marriage. It's like, yeah, but you believe in a lot of other things before marriage. All right, anyways. It's the energy. It's not about that. It's the undercurrent of that this girl, me, many others are feeling literally afraid to even have a fucking opinion, excuse my French, because we're not allowed to, because they will swarm you, as we can see from my last episode. Christians Exposed 1, and now this is Christians Exposed 2. All right? And there's a part of me that doesn't even want to read those comments. I'm trying to highlight the other folks. The category 3, the people that who are trying to move through this challenging, grief-filled experience of 3 of Cups. It's just everything feels spilled and lost, and you feel alone. Anyways. Now, this is a woman in category 1. And she said it pretty normally. So I'll thank her for that. But these things, they have subtleties, right? You were always free. In my post that I posted, basically I was saying I felt trapped, I felt tormented for my 32 years of being trapped in religion. She's immediately contradicting what I said. People have the right to contradict anything you say, right? This is a public forum. This is a public square. That's why I just invite this stuff. People can say whatever they want to me because, to be honest with you, I have an opinion on anything that you'll throw my way. You know what I'm saying? Mercury. I got a Leo Mercury, so... You were always free. So basically she's just being like, they gaslight you out of stuff. And I'm not saying this woman is. I'm saying this is an example. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, it takes a lot to offend me these days. You know what I'm saying here? Like, you really, not much gets to me. Not much surprises me. Anyways, you were always free. You've just chosen the path you wish to take. The pathway of truth is not easy, but I'll die on it. See, it's not easy. It's a patronizing thing that these people do, where it's like they're saying, "Oh, it's not easy, bless God," but it's what we gotta do. It's like it would kind of be like, say I was on a diet with a group of people. Say 10 of us are on a diet, and I'm the only one in the group that broke my diet, and everyone's like, "Ooh." Like, they're all kind of, like, judging you. Like, oh, you broke your diet. It's like, it's that sort of vibe. Anyways, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Where can you go from his spirit? Okay. I'm going to skip a couple of these. Then there's people obviously just supporting me. These are category 2. These are people with support. Speak your truth. It takes great courage to do so. Another one. Hey, Missy, we really talk. I found answers from going within and giving myself space to heal. I do have some resources. Thank you. Then there's a person, category 1, praying for your healing, okay? Let's go back to category 2. Category 2, I'll read category 2. Category 2 is people who disagree with these people but have something really great to say, all right? Category 3 are the outliers. So this would be 2/3, all right? Okay, sorry, I'm being Virgo. I've seen many periods of growth and expansion through the years following you. This is somebody that's known me for like the past 14 years from my Holy Sandwich channel. Like, some of these people are people that I've known from like my old weight loss community lifestyle channel that I used to run, vlogging. I've seen many periods of growth and expansion through the years following you. Your writing and what you share, music videos on YouTube, etc., are always so well written, thought-provoking, and poignant. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, I'm just trying to read a couple people that are coming out who have seen me go from thing to thing. You know what I mean? All right, now this is another interesting one in category 3. This is an outlier. This is a man that I knew for many years, who came from, he's a pastor's kid. I grew up with him, okay? So that's the context. Thanks for sharing. It takes such courage to do that publicly. I still believe in Jesus, but I hesitate to call myself a Christian these days. This guy, like me, was like the Christian, right? We were Jesus freaks. Hashtag Jesus freak, all right? Anybody in the comments know what I'm referencing there? I'm in the wrong room, but that's okay. Maybe I'm in the right room. I don't know. You let me know. Is this resonating? I still believe in Jesus, but I hesitate to call myself a Christian these days, mostly because what I see from those who claim to be does not align with the person of Jesus Christ I see in the scriptures. Right. Ironically, while I am following his teachings closer than I have in the past, I'm also being decreed as a heretic. See these words? Heretic, patronizing, manipulation. See these words that just fly out of people's mouths like it's nothing? Those are harsh words to be using. It's not just like, wow, these Christians don't agree with us. Check my time here. All right. Ironically, while I am following his teachings closer than I have in the past, I'm also being decreed as a heretic. There's a really great movie called Heretic talking all about Rob Bell and his journey. I would recommend watching that if you're going through a deconstruction right now. It's a great documentary. I'm decreed as a heretic by some of the same circles we grew up with. Okay? Take a quick water break here. Flash the merch, shameless plug. Staring at the sea. Remember my song at the end? All right. Now, this one is from a woman that I knew from the past as well. She knew me between worlds. She knew me before I became a minister. Okay. And this was when I was like coming out of the closet. I'll never forget the first time I saw you on YouTube. You were shyly accepting that you were gay and going to see your girl. I no longer identify as gay. I identify as queer and she, they, but all right. Anyways. Years later, when I came out, that video meant a lot to me. I had already started deconstructing my belief systems. All right, this is another category 3 here. These are the deconstruction folks that have thought about their faith and struggled with it and wrestled with it. These are the people that are really living with their own convictions, is my point with this episode, right? They're not just people blindly parroting stuff. They're people who have actually been victimized. So let's be clear about that. I had already started deconstructing the belief system that I was raised in, and watching you and how happy you were encouraged me. Over the years, it saddened me to see the light leave your eyes. That's a comment. I'm very happy to see you free. She saw me on my Whole Wheat Sandwich channel. It's when I was coming out of the closet. It's when I had my Missy Moment channel. I was doing these like short films. I was talking about all these different topics that interest me at the time. I was thinking about my faith. I was thinking for myself. It was a very freeing time for me. I lost 100 pounds.
I bet you're wondering, who the bleep are you? My name's Missy. Call me whatever you want, though. You can call me, like, broccoli, and I'll be fine with it.
On my Whole Wheat Sandwich channel. And I was just, everything in my life I was becoming healthy spirit, soul, and body. I remember I literally did a series called Spirit, Soul, and Body. Because I was tackling not just the weight loss, but I was also tackling these other really challenging things that made me sick, things that were making me sick mentally, so that it was a holistic approach that I was taking at that time. She was seeing me in that way. And then over the years, after I stopped doing that Whole Wheat Sandwich channel, she's saying she slowly saw the light fade from my eyes. And that really, anyways. Yes, it's been a long time, and I've followed your journey through your music and life. I'm very happy to see the light in your eyes again. Thank you. Now, let me conclude here. I actually wish I started with these, but these are the last ones on my feed here. So we got a good mixture, right? Here we have these 5 cups. We have some good what is bad, we have some comments that were coming out basically to say, and I skipped a lot of them, that were like, rock on girl, doing your thing, standing up for what you believe in, I support you, love to see this, those were category 2, right? Those were people that were happy to see me free and were also simultaneously like against what the Christians were saying, right? Then we have the Christians, category 1, and then category 3, we have the outliers, people who have deconstructed or are currently going through a deconstruction, not trying to confuse you. We have a good, mixture of these, but I'm going to close on this. I'm going to close on a couple more Christian remarks here, and then we're going to end with why we can look away from these 3 cups and look to the 2, pick them up, and go over that bridge and get on with our lives. And then I'm going to sing my 5 of Cups song to you all. All right? So this is from my grandma, and it's clear who she is because she's literally saying herself in the comment. I'm leaving all of these people, the names and faces blurred out, but if you want to be mentioned, let me know, and I'll mention your name next time. I'm just trying to be respectful. But this is a public square. What do you think Bitcoin is? It's like that there's a reason why we're having these public... We're in a time of things being public. I don't know how else to say it. You can see these big transactions taking place right on a public Bitcoin forum. Right? That's what I'm doing here. Okay, anyways. They have the right to say this. I have the right to retort. As my firstborn granddaughter, I love you, Missy, but all you are saying is from the flesh. Basically, it's in the same vein of the patronizing stuff that I talked about before, where it's saying, she's like, I love you, but everything you're saying, Missy, is completely of the flesh in Christian terms is like such an insult, guys. If you didn't grow up Christian like me, you'd probably be like, of the flesh, what is that? Of the body? Yes, but essentially they're saying it's of the devil. They're not just saying, it's not a light phrase of the flesh. It's basically saying, you are doing the wrong things, and I'm going to make sure I call you out for it. Why? Why do they do this? Well, first of all, because the end of her comment says she wants to spend eternity in heaven with me. So I do respect that. And I am sorry for sometimes I get a little too Leo Mercury when I get on my rants and my rolls, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. Right? But they've been at this stuff for so many years, and it's like there's only so many times a dog can be hit and hit and hit and hit before they bite back, dude. Well, that's your grandmother. She's older. She doesn't understand the new generation and stuff. It's like, I know. You know what I mean? I get all the different sides. I'm just saying, guys, I can't please everybody. I have an opinion, and my opinion is that these people have abused me. What they're saying here is nothing. This is like nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just making a point on this episode because this is what they were willing to post publicly, and that's what this episode is called. It's like, even when people know that they're being watched, this is what they still say. Why do they do it? Because they believe that by calling me out publicly is actually doing the Lord's work, right? And by me coming out against them publicly, they believe that they're being persecuted for their faith. Therefore, by me talking about this is the part that, this is why we go in circles, and this is why I decided to stop doing a Christian deconstruction podcast, because I did at the start. I had a whole channel devoted to a Christian deconstruction podcast. The reason why I decided not to do that anymore is because I'm going to go in circles and circles and circles and circles with these people for the next 35 years. And instead of pigeonholing myself in a niche, I decided to broaden the spectrum and talk to a bigger group of people that come from all different backgrounds on this channel, as opposed to only talking in a small room in a niche full of deconstructors that are being bombarded by these Christians, and you're just in these circle arguments for the next 35 years. What is the point? I just saw this big orb go by. It looked like a diamond flashing in near my guitar over there. All right, why do they do it? Because they believe they need to, and they believe it's the Lord's work. When I bounce back with my words, they take that as Christian persecution. To them, that's actually a good thing. That's a good sign. To them, that makes them feel like they're doing the Lord's work, because Jesus said, we'll be persecuted for doing the Lord's work. So really, to them, everything I'm doing here is actually just giving them even more of an ego, ironically enough. All right, so anyways, I've been arguing with these people for my entire life. This is pointless to me, but I'm making this because I feel like the Lord is telling me to do it, right? My version of Lord. My God is telling me to do this. All right, so anyways. Let's just, we got to bring out the clown nose at least once an episode, guys. My blood pressure's rising. All right. There's that clown nose that we all know and love. Trigger warning, clown nose, everybody. Come on down. The real you is spirit, made in the image of God. You can search for the rest of your life and never find what you're looking for, because only Jesus can satisfy your soul, and only his spirit in you can one day bring you to heaven. I pray that he will open your spiritual eyes to see that he is the truth, the life, and the way he gave for you. So please give your life back to him. He alone can bring you peace, joy, and rest, along with the assurance of eternity in heaven. May the Holy Spirit lead you in the right direction and set you free from deception. We all love you and want to spend eternity with you in heaven. And then, anyways, people underneath were like, wow, true, and all that. So, all right, hold on. All right, I'm not going to use the clown nose on this one. This is our last one. And I love you, Graham. I love you. I love my family, right? But if, like I said, it's one thing for people to disagree at a Thanksgiving dinner about politics, you know what I'm saying? Or religion. Understandable. That's a common trope for a reason. It's on so many sitcoms, so many movies, right? But the reason why it becomes more extreme, like my friend said, he was being called a heretic, right? My other friend said that she was feeling like she was being manipulated. Those are big, heavy words. She said the word scared. It's like it makes us feel scared. And you can watch the old episodes of my podcast when it used to be primarily a deconstruction podcast, to the point where I couldn't even film the episodes, guys, because it was just so... I stopped and started that podcast like 3 different times because it was just so overwhelming. Like, it was... The PTSD symptoms were so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had to pivot. So anyways, it'd be one thing if it was a disagreement. It's another thing when people feel like they are being like ganged up on. I'm going to watch my words. It's like, it is a feeling of hopelessness with the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups, in the really dark aspect of the 5 of Cups, is like you want to end your life. And that's why I'm going to finish on this last comment from a Christian who is a friend from my ministry channel that supported my music and was always very kind to me, right? And he disagrees with my choices now, but this is why I want to end on this, because it's like a combination. And we had a couple of those combination folk, right? Where he's saying he loves me and he wishes that he hopes I come back to the Lord, right? Now, let me read this comment from him. You had a button that said, it's gonna be okay. I'm wearing it today just for you, brother. This is the one that I created. I used to have a Patreon just for my music, and I would send out on a monthly basis like all these different little trinkets, and I used to paint watercolor paintings for my patrons for the album that was coming out at the time. I think it was my album Beyond that I did this for. Anyways, if you type in Beyond Missy Gordon, you'll see my album. But anyways, this button says it's gonna be okay. People really liked these buttons. I gave them to a lot of different people, and a lot of people still have them from like 4 years ago. He mentioned that this button, he said, you had a button that said it's gonna be okay. It's how I knew that my suicidal thoughts not to give up. So that's a very meaningful comment, right? And he said here, The prodigal son couldn't run fast enough to stop the father's love. The prodigal son is a reference of a man who, quote unquote, left his father to go live a life of lust and gambling and prostitutes and all that stuff. Basically, the allegory is that he left God to go live his sinful fleshly ways, and the prodigal son coming home to the father is the parable. Anyways, so he's calling me that. You'll see life go downwards. You'll see life go downwards. Let me just say, guys, my life has gone nothing but up over the past 3 years. I have never felt better. Even with my brother's death. I know that sounds morose, but it's almost like the weight of these 3 cups was so heavy constantly that when I let those go, it's like that sense of buoyancy, like I came up at the top of the water. And so during my brother's death, it's almost like because I let go of before my brother died, I had already started deconstructing. I had already started working through that stuff. When he died last April in 2023, it was like, because some of that balance happened, because some of the scale tilted the other way, I was able to withstand the shock to the system of his death. Do you know what I'm saying here? It's like I was able to let go of some of that other traumatic shit so that I could actually focus on grieving 5 of Cups, my brother's death. All right. You'll see your life go downwards until you come back to your senses that God was and still is fully committed to you. This is the same guy that was saying that my button meant so much to him and helped him through a dark time and stuff. It's all a balance, right? You got to take your wins, you got to take your losses. I tried to run and God sent you to help me back. I have a sister in Christ who was angry at Christianity that she went back to her mystical roots, which is like what we do, right, guys? Of her family, and even there she still felt she wasn't supposed to be, but she didn't think she had anything to run back to. God isn't mad at you. You're still his daughter. Come back. Love you, sis. I love you too, brother. I do. But, that's what this 5 of Cups is. It's like taking all of that in. There's a lot of weight there. We didn't even read them all. And I'm taking my 2 cups and I'm going. And part of this 2 cups for me is writing music, right? And I've always been a musician. So I decided to write this song for you guys called 5 of Cups to talk about that there is hope, right? And to just, it's radical acceptance. It is dark. It is gloomy. It is sometimes feels like there's no hope left. There's no sun in the sky. There's an element of radical acceptance in this card where it's like, yes, the 3 cups happened. We're not toxically positive. We're not avoiding that that's true. We're not pretending like it didn't happen. We're not pretending that all those people didn't comment. We're not pretending my brother didn't die. But at the same time, it's like, but is all hope lost in the entire world and there's nothing left? No. We still have gratitude. We still have faith. We still have hope. We still know that we can have hope in this life again, that things are gonna be okay. And that's what this button is about, right? So I love you guys. This is my song 5 of Cups, and I'll see you on the next one. Staring at the sea, I see leaves waving as they talk to me. Seasons changing subtly, asking where did I go? Where did I go? One day I was only 3. beating, I replay the fight. Seasons changing gracefully, asking where did the love go? Where did the love go? Frigid winter, morning dew. It's been 3 years since I talked to you. Seasons changing painfully, asking where did my brother go? Where did my brother go? The season's gonna change anyway, and everyone's gonna die one day. The weeping willow bows to pray, and I hum the sacred song.